for its needs, as do every other state. So in the strange world that we're in, this deficit mania that's going on, which is strangling us, is also kind of perversely helping to create the first real opening for making substantial cuts in the military budget since I've been working on this, and I feel like I've been working on this forever. So the deficit mania has created a mantra. Everything needs to be on the table, including defense. This message, which I've never heard since I've been working on this, is now a perfectly mainstream message just this year that really crosses the political spectrum. So Majority Leader Eric Cantor has said everything needs to be on the table, including defense spending. And you know, Tea Partiers are saying this. Now, as you may have noticed, in the budget cutting that's gone on so far, that's not what they're doing. The Republican-dominated House has been cutting everything but the red piece of the pie. So far, they've been really ignoring the defense side of this budget. But among those who are saying everything needs to be on the table, you know, what do they mean by cutting defense? And that's the rub. Another message that's out there is Secretary Gates is making cuts to the defense budget, which is actually not true. And you know, the mainstream publications keep on saying this, and we finally, I think, got them to realize that this isn't quite true. And so, you know, some of the major papers are now, you know, qualifying that statement. It's not true because all the cuts that he's talked about making, he intends to plow right back into other defense programs. That's one thing. And the other thing is that he's playing a game that they play every year, which is they jack up the projections. We need to be spending, you know, and here's the line of what they think they need to be spending in the years to come. And then they say, oh, we are going to spend a little less than that, so we're cutting the budget. They're not cutting the budget. It's still higher than what it is now. You know, I think we ought to be able to agree on a definition of cutting, which is you're going to spend less next year than you spend this year. This is not what the Pentagon is talking about. So we do have, you know, a serious proposal for some serious cuts to military spending. It's been proposed by the President's Deficit Reduction Commission. They're talking about their proposal that didn't get a super majority vote that it needed to be adopted by the whole commission, but it did get a majority vote, which included $100 billion annually in defense cuts. This is real money. It's a bit of a mushy proposal. It's the same number that this commission that I'm on, that Barney Frank put together. It's called the Sustainable Defense Task Force. And our proposal was $100 billion in cuts. Ours is a little better, in my view, because it's less mushy than what the President's Commission put out. About 40% of their $100 billion was for, you know, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, and that's what that's sort of this huge blanket, mushy category that people keep talking about, and it never really happens. And so our proposal is for, you know, actual concrete cuts in weapon systems we don't need, in reducing troop levels. The Secretary of Defense himself has said anybody who thinks we're going to be doing another Iraq or Afghanistan somewhere else has to have his head examined. Well, if that's true, then we don't need all those troops. Let's demobilize them.
We are doing it.
We are now. That's right. The proposal includes closing down about a third of our military bases. You know, public opinion says Americans do not want to be the policemen of the world, and yet we have this global police force in about 700 military bases around the world. Let's start pulling those back, cutting the nuclear arsenal. The price of getting the START treatment, the nuclear weapons reduction agreement, was a massive amount of spending to modernize our arsenal. Now, what sense did that make? It was just what they felt they had to do to get the START treaty passed. The guy that they did it for, Senator Kyle, didn't even vote for it, but never mind. So anyway, this is a serious proposal, but the problem with this proposal is obvious. They want it all to go to deficit reduction, which isn't going to do anything for all these other pieces of the pie that we're here to support.